Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn, and today we are checking out Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, the latest game made by From Software. It's always awkward to talk about them as a company because it's like latest game from Software. Anyway, so they have returned to the days of old when they brought us the incredible fast-paced mech combat game Armored Core after their years and years of success making and actually creating their own genre, Soulsian games such as Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and of course Elden Ring. And when they announced Armored Core, you had two groups of people. You had the newer From Software fans who were fans of all the Soulsian games going, what the fuck is this? Armored Core 6? Hello? I don't know what that is. And then you had everyone that was Armored Core fans from before going, because we didn't think, we didn't think that we were ever going to see another Armored Core game just because From Software had found such incredible success through their Soulsian adventures that it's like, are you really going to roll the dice on not making like maximum profits on an Armored Core game, which traditionally was a fairly niche game, and it'll be interesting to see if that changes now that From Software is one of the most critically acclaimed and most well-known video game developers on the planet. It'll be really cool to see if this like takes off and suddenly we have people that are like really into Armored Core, because that would be fantastic. One of the questions that we also had when they initially announced Armored Core is like, man, it's been so long since they made an Armored Core game. How is this one going to be different? Because they've had so many years of experience, so many years of development. Is this going to be a Soulsian feeling Armored Core? Or are they just going to go back and like make it the way that they used to? And there's a lot of footage available for Armored Core 6, okay? So if you don't get enough here from my video, just like Google Armored Core gameplay. They had like a 3-hour live stream showing off the PvP like 2 days ago or something like that. So if you need more, it's out there. We're not watching all of that. So we're going to start at the beginning, though, the initial reveal trailer, and work through some of the additional marketing that was available for this game, and then just really get our finger down on it. And yeah, just enjoy getting to see what Armored Core looks like in 2023 instead of 2003. So, here we go. So this first trailer is purely cinematic, but it does set the tone really well. Well, that looks fine. It's been so long since I've seen this trailer. Yeah, you can fix it, Scott. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. I'm really glad that we don't have warfare equipment on this tier at this point in time in our lives. We have some really destructive equipment in the real world, right? But we don't have shit like this quite yet. And I'm glad that it's just really unrealistic for shit like this to exist, because the amount of damage that this type of equipment causes in all of the video games that these types of equipment exist in is terrifying. Like worlds like Gundam, Mech Warrior, Armored Core. It's just like, man, that sucks. That sucks so much. So cool. Okay, so now let's actually see what the game looks like. So this is the first gameplay trailer. The game was first shown off at the Game Awards of 2022. Again, we'd like to give credit where credit is due. Thank you for announcing your game in December and releasing it in August. I really like it when games come out within 12 to 18 months of when they were announced. Big props from me. So this is the gameplay trailer back from April. I know straight out of life as soon as they started making stuff like that. Yeah, that's when you just really pray that you're not on a planet where it matters.
We're close to Rubicon. Wake the dog up.
Handler Walter verified. Activating cerebral coral control device.
Yeah, so now we're actually getting some earlier in-engine footage. It has also been confirmed that they are using the same engine that they used for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, as well as Elden Ring, which I believe is a build of Unreal Engine 4.
C4621 has awakened.
Yeah, Armored Core has always been super sick because you have such freedom of customization over your mech. Especially like Armored Core 4, or is it called like 4 Answer, I think is what it was actually called. Man, it was sick because that's when they started moving Armored Core into a lot faster gameplay like you're seeing here, where you were able to like really skate around. Shit's gonna be fun.
One of the infamous Handler Walter's hounds. Interesting. You ready to climb the wall?
Call sign Raven. Priority subject for termination. High on the list.
A coral response from the generator.
Jeez.
Watch out.
Why hide behind another's call sign?
Oh my god.
Let's see how far they can fly. On borrowed wings.
God, so freaking cool. Okay, here's the story trailer. This is from July. I know some people will be all about this game. Oh man. I'm so curious to see how this game does critical reception and sales wise. Just because if they made another Soulsian game, it would sell 10 million copies, right? But I want to know how this does from the perspective of like a really new landscape for gamers compared to who they were selling Armored Core for like 15 plus years ago.
So what happened to 617 and the others? Fill me in, Handler Walter.
Oh.
Well, at least you're helping me clear my inventory.
Trailer's a little quiet. Yeah, and think, Scott, that was the first time they showed us gameplay. We got more to check out. Jesus Christ. I know it's just a cinematic, but it's freaking cool.
Updating target parameters. Phase 3, pattern E. Down. Reporting to Handler Walter. Mission complete.
621. I'll give you a reason to exist. Let's get to work.
So one of the things that they've also talked about is that when they were working on Armored Core 6, the core, this is from interviews that I'm just kind of like repeating off of memory, the core design aspect of the game has been around primarily the story-focused single-player experience. So that's a lot similar to how they've been doing a lot of their Soulsian games for the last 17 years, right? And so that's good for people that were worried, because some people were worried that this was just going to really be like a live service style game. They do have multiplayer available, and they, like I mentioned earlier in this video, that they did just a big massive showcase showing like competitive level PvP. PvP will be 1v1 or 3v3 in an arena style, so you're not going to need to worry about something like Elden Ring where people are going to like invade you and stuff like that, but instead it's going to be an intentional choice that you go in and make if you want to participate in a PvP environment with like your own custom mech and custom mech teams and stuff like that. So next up we have a new wave of gameplay footage. This is from the end of June 29th. So this is going to be a couple of months after that previous set of gameplay footage, and we'll see what this one looks like. I haven't seen this one at all yet. I think this is actually the first time we get to see the UI, maybe. They also talked about how they have a lot more verticality in their environments, since you do have like the freedom of like your jump jets and stuff like that. So you're not going to just be grounded all of the time. Game looks phenomenal, which also irritates the crap out of me, because I saw people talking when this came out, as well as like a bunch of preview footage, because a bunch of creators got to go and like see the game in a enclosed environment, and they weren't allowed to capture their own footage. They were provided a B-roll of the game. There was people that were looking at this footage and that preview footage and being like, man, the game looks kind of dated. And I'm like, man, you guys suck. Like, if things don't look like fully pre-rendered CG animations anymore, like, people are just so happy to poo-poo on video games. And, like, maybe it's just because I'm, like, getting older when it comes to, like, the gamer demographic, but I'm like, I think this looks fantastic. Then you got people that are like, oh no, the ambient occlusion kind of looks like it could have used some extra work. And I'm like, you probably barely know what that means. the amount of movement that you have in this is really insane. Yeah, so you can kind of see some of the things of how much you can customize, everything from your legs to your weapons to your movement gear and stuff like that. And so you can like actually have, at least, I don't know specifically about this game, I'm specifically talking about my experience from previous Armored Core games. You had a lot of freedom and expression in how you played the game, because like, for instance, the group that I was playing with at the time, some people would pick like these really lightweight frames that had a lot of movement that they were able to skitter around super quick to try and like avoid shots and avoid damage and stuff. But that also meant that they didn't have a lot of armor or defenses or anything like that. So if you did manage to like get them, there was a good chance that you didn't have to get them very much in order to destroy them. Or you could go with like a slower, heavier weight frame with some heavier weaponry with like more missiles and more guns and stuff, so where like you're not going to be able to be quick and evade. You'll still be able to skate around and stuff, but you might not be nearly as fast. So you're trading evasion for durability and or firepower. So you could go with like a fast-paced glass cannon compared to like a Juggernaut style build, right? There is one thing that is very different about Armored Core 6 compared to previous Armored Core games, and they haven't shown it off yet, but I know that it's there from like all of the other previews and stuff that have been going on and around and out and stuff, and that this is the first Armored Core game that gives you the ability to lock on to your target. And what I mean is like click the R3 button and it like puts a little targeting reticle, and the camera and your aiming and stuff automatically locks onto that target, right? That didn't used to be a thing. That's definitely a thing that they are taking from their experience in their Soulsians, where you can lock onto your target, and bringing it over to Armored Core, which in a lot of ways does change some of the base fundamentals of Armored Core, because it means that you don't have to as much aim your ranged weaponry, because for instance like lasers and like your machine guns and stuff, you just had to manually aim those before, whereas if you're locked on, I don't know if there's a benefit in one direction to another of like trying to aim it yourself or just locking on, but it changes that necessity to where you don't necessarily have to aim as much. But it also means that melee weapons are now significantly better, because melee before in Armored Core, it existed. It was terrible, because if you've played a game that has a melee focus that doesn't have the ability to allow you to easily track your targets, you will swing past your target a lot. And so not many people utilized melee in older Armored Core, where I think is going to be a lot more prominent in this one, just because of that lock-on, and because they're going to have a lot more experience in developing a melee style of combat because of all of their experience that they had in previous Soulsian games. Okay, I don't know if we're going to watch this entire thing. This is a gameplay preview, and it's 13 minutes long, but it's the most recent thing that was available for Armored Core. Like, we might just kind of skim and jump through this, but I'm going to go ahead and get it playing right now, because it's going to give us a lot more in-depth look at the gameplay than kind of like the specialized cut from what we just got done watching. But
Hello,
one thing...
and thanks for checking out the video.
Oh no, this is like an explanation video. That's fine.
Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon.
Maybe we will just watch it.
We hope it gives you an idea of this title's mood and gameplay.
Yeah, give me the mood.
In a future where interstellar travel is commonplace, our story begins in a distant star system on the fictional planet Rubicon 3. Our protagonist, an independent mercenary, is smuggled into Rubicon in search of a mysterious new substance known as coal.
Your position is grid 135. Off target, but within permissible range. There's a catapult ahead. Use it to close the gap.
Huge multi-layered stages will let players make the most of their AC's exceptional movement and attack capabilities.
Some textures look dated, but overall it still looks good. Probably come a long way since the footage was shot. Well, and it also depends on like what they're filming it on, right, too? Because like if this is like PlayStation 5 footage, that's not gonna have as high texture quality as like PC footage. If you have a high enough end PC to, you know, use the highest end textures and stuff. But I also don't need every single one of my video games to look like a movie. I just need it to look good enough within whatever art style it's going for and to have a cohesive art direction and then be fun to play. Because like games like Signalis obviously like look old because they were designed to look old, but that game is phenomenal.
Overwhelm enemies with up to 4 weapons simultaneously, equipped to each arm and shoulder.
Liberation front. They'll get in the way of our work. Eliminate them. Picking up signals from AC Rex. Follow the markers.
Just kind of looking at the UI.
Is one of the core abilities at your disposal, used for both traversal and combat.
Did you hear anything about what the Corps are up to?
Yeah, they'll be coming soon. Got us on the run. We're being attacked!
Unidentified AC! Return fire!
Didn't give him much of an opportunity to return fire. I have said a few times there are some games that just don't appeal to me because they just aren't pretty. I mean, if it's not your style or vibe, that's absolutely one thing. And if you're not into a more like retro look, that's also perfectly fine. But some people will look at a game and be like, it doesn't look like the most cutting edge graphics that you could possibly imagine, so they just aren't interested. Like someone would look at something like Golf It and be like, it doesn't look like an actual golf course. Why would you play this when you could just play PGA Tour 2024? PGA Tour 2024 looks a lot better.
Use vertical catapults to gain even more altitude and launch into the action from above.
These are big environments. You know, it's really interesting how little when you're looking, like, and it might be different when you're playing it, but your character almost moves out of the screen so that you can see what's happening in front of you. Your character is so out of the way.
It's called stagger. Any attack received in this state is considered a direct hit, dealing heavy damage.
Sweet. You mean the colors are off or the style is bland or it looks lazy? Absolutely, yeah.
Assembly lets you exchange various parts of your AC at will, including weapons.
I mean, you can even have that in games that do look good.
And internal parts for power management. Assembling an AC to fit your own playstyle and strategy is crucial to success.
Got a job for you, 621. This one's a request from the Archivist Group.
Raven, this request comes from Schneider, an Archivist subsidiary. The mission will take place in the Bonadea dunes of Western Belius. Our coral investigation there is being blocked by the Strider, a Rubicon Liberation Front mining ship. You are to destroy it. The Strider is a mobile resource base that was extensively weaponized by the Liberation Front.
Should be real easy to kill then, yeah?
Call it the crowning glory of their efforts to militarize into an anti-corporate force. Your attack will focus on the Eye, a giant laser cannon connected directly to the main generator. It's protected by a shield, which is powered by auxiliary sub-generators. These should be your first targets. This concludes the briefing. Good luck.
Because, like, Green Crown, we talked about Immortals of Aveum recently, and that game, in terms of, like, a fidelity standpoint, it's really, really high quality. Like, the character models are really good, they got really good texture work on everything, like, the game looks like a freaking movie. But it's also hyper generic looking. Like, I said it looks like something made by Marvel Studios, and somebody in the YouTube comments was like, yeah, it looks like a paint by numbers first-person shooter. Which I agree. They used really good paint, but it does just look like a paint by numbers game. And so I don't really have much interest in it because it just isn't very appealing looking, even though it's really high quality. So that laser that just tried to shoot you, that's what you need to take out. Wow. Again, massive environments. Well, that was sick.
621, you need to take out one of its legs to bring it to a halt.
I just did that.
Confirmed. Strider leg compromised. It's going down. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
How long do you think that would take to repair? Months? Years? You just never do?
Alright, now we've got a foothold to get on the deck. Grab on and get to work on the sub-generators.
We don't need you to necessarily destroy the whole thing. We just need you to make it ineffective. He has allies. I wonder if you can do cooperative multiplayer. I feel like they talked about it at some point, but I don't remember the answer. That was a cool-ass cannon. Just put some flex tape on it, it'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. No big deal.
Your mission objectives will range from protecting targets and information gathering to the annihilation of enemy forces.
50%.
Yeah, with the lock-on feature, you'll be a lot more focused on like range and positioning rather than aiming. Because if you were a really good shot in the old Armored Core games, that really would do a lot for you over anything else. Whereas with the lock-on feature, I don't know if that'll matter as much here. Ow!
And often be pitted against rival AC pilots in bitter duels. Keep the pressure up in these intense battles. Don't give the enemy a chance at victory.
Hi.
Formidable boss encounters also await you at the end of certain missions. These fights are far fast and aggressive, presenting a challenge for even the impossibly powerful AC.
Yeah, you are getting beat up.
By observing the
I don't know how realistic zero hit runs are going to be in this, just with the amount of bullets that they throw everywhere. Oh, Jesus, that did a lot. Yeah, use that repair kit.
will often provide the first step to overcoming even the most daunting foes. We invite players to take on this one for themselves and see what else awaits. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for showing
That concludes our introduction to Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. We appreciate your continued support and look forward to seeing you at launch.
Such an interesting voice. So sick. Yeah, they've shown mostly legged mechs, legged armored cores in this game. All of these these enemies that you see that are on like mobile tank treads, you can build an armored core that is like that is actually on treads. They normally have some other limitations, but yeah, you have a lot of creative expression in how you design your armored core in this game. Super cool. Very, very cool. All right, and you can pre-purchase it. It's going to be $60, I believe. Yeah, it's going to be $60, $70 for the deluxe edition. I'm not sure what you get in the deluxe edition. Let's take a little look-see. There's a pre-order bonus. You get a special customization, some early unlocks, and a special decal. In the deluxe edition, you get the digital art book and the original soundtrack. Oh, okay. So, yeah, unless you just really want a digital art book and soundtrack, it sounds like just pre-ordering the regular edition gets you the most. But even then, it doesn't get you very much because it's early unlocks. So it's not like stuff that is exclusive to the pre-order, which is good. It's just stuff that's going to be like you'll be able to get it sooner, like right at the beginning of the game, rather than needing to like probably spend some in-game currency or something to unlock it. Anyway, that's Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. I would really love to hear from you, and I would specifically, I want to know where you are as a gamer for Armored Core. We talked about at the beginning of the video that when it comes to people that are fans of From Software, there are people that are fans of Armored Core and there are people that are fans of Soulsians. Now, you can be a fan of both, but there are people that played Armored Core 20 years ago, and then there are people that learned about Armored Core because this game got announced. I would love to know which one you are and how you feel about it. Obviously, if you're an old Armored Core fan, you might be super excited, but you might not be because it's definitely changed a bit from the Armored Core of old. We talked about how they added lock-on, which didn't used to be a thing, and it's very clear that there is some Soulsian influence, such as like the prominence of more melee combat, as well as like lock-on and the way that you're going to see these bigger, like kind of pattern style boss encounters, which is definitely that Soulsian influence bleeding into Armored Core, which some people might not be very happy about if they really just wanted more of what we had back in the day. And then if you're somebody who's a longtime Soulsian fan but never really touched on Armored Core, how do you feel about this? Because this is so far and away different from the From Software that we've had for the last 17 years, which, you know, we're not in a like fantasy style environment or even like a mixed fantasy environment. This is hyper sci-fi, and you're going to see a lot of really fast movement and guns and explosions and rockets and lasers, whereas before we were using magic and swords and, you know, maybe some pistols. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear from you. Put them down in the comments below or hit me up on social media. I'm extremely active on Twitter and Discord, but I am also now on Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram. So yeah, just let me know. Hit me up on any of those platforms and let's have a conversation, much like the conversation we've been having with chat, because this video was recorded live on stream and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. If you go watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.